Did anyone ever tell you that turning 80 doesn't just mean getting older? It means living in a world that's a little quieter, a little lonelier, and sometimes harder to recognize? Most people talk about aging in terms of creaky joints or prescription bottles. But what they often leave out are the quieter shifts, emotional, social, even spiritual, that sneak up on us and change how we feel about the world around us. Today, I want to talk to you as if we're sitting across from each other, maybe over a cup of tea, maybe on a porch swing. Just you and me, talking about things nobody warned us about. Because aging isn't just about the body. It's about how life itself begins to change shape, especially after 80. And the first change is one that's hard to name until it's already happening. Your social life doesn't just change, it slowly fades. For example, take Mr. Walter, 83, a retired engineer who used to host Sunday barbecues and weekly bridge nights. He once had a calendar full of birthdays, visits, and morning coffee dates. Now, he looks at that same calendar, and it's mostly blank space. "I still get the occasional phone call," he said to me once, "but I can't remember the last time someone dropped by without a reason." That's the first harsh reality after 80, the shrinking world of social connection. It doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. One friend stops calling. Another moves away. One passes on. And before you realize it, your circle isn't just smaller, it feels fragile. Like it could disappear entirely if you don't keep holding it up. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about bitterness. It's not about blaming anyone. It's about being honest. Family members are busy. The younger ones are juggling work, kids, and the pace of a world that never seems to stop. And friends? Well, they're going through the same shifts you are, fighting their own health battles, dealing with loss, or simply no longer able to get around. And suddenly, you find yourself spending more time with memories than people. You catch yourself sitting in your favorite chair, staring out the window, and remembering a time when the phone used to ring more. When someone knocked at the door just to say hello. When your name came up in someone's daily life, not just once a year around the holidays. It's not that you're unloved. It's that the rhythm of connection has changed. What once felt like an effortless flow now takes effort. Reaching out starts to feel like work. And sometimes, you wonder if anyone even notices the silence that's settled around you. But here's the thing nobody tells you. This kind of quiet isn't loneliness in the way people think of it. It's not always a desperate ache. It's more subtle than that. It's the kind of quiet that makes you reflect, that makes you hold on to memories like they're small treasures. It's hearing your late friend Margaret's laugh in your head and smiling, even though she's been gone for years. It's looking at an old photo of your wedding day and feeling like you can still hear the music playing. This isn't weakness. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's a kind of emotional adjustment, a transformation of what connection means. And while the world may shrink, your inner world doesn't have to. That's why emotional connection to yourself, to your story, and to just one or two trusted people becomes more vital than ever. You don't need a crowd. You don't need constant company. But you do need presence. A phone call that goes deeper than "how are you?" A friend who really listens, even if they're just a voice on the other end of the line. A journal where you write down your thoughts, because your story still matters, even if fewer people ask to hear it. I once spoke to Dolores, 86, who lost her husband 10 years ago and now lives alone in a quiet apartment. She told me something that stayed with me. She said, "I used to feel like my life was getting smaller, but I started keeping a little notebook. Every day, I write down one thing I'm grateful for, and one memory I want to keep alive. I guess it's my way of staying connected, to life, to love, to myself." That's the wisdom I want to offer you today. Life after 80 may not be as full of visits, laughter, and loud dinner tables as it once was, but it can still be full of meaning. It just requires a new way of looking, a new way of reaching, a quieter kind of love. So, if you've been feeling the silence, know this, you're not alone in it. So many of us are walking this road together, even if it feels like we're doing it in separate houses or distant towns. And while your phone might not ring as often, while your front door might stay closed more than it used to, your value hasn't gone anywhere. You are still a part of the story, still needed. still capable of making someone smile, even if it's just through a letter, a memory shared, or a whispered prayer. Before we move on to the next reality, I want you to sit with this truth. The size of your social circle doesn't determine the size of your worth. If you still have someone to call, call them. If you still have a memory to share, share it. And if you don't, write it down anyway. Because your life still speaks, even if the world has gotten quieter. Stay with me. In the next part, we'll talk about something else that changes after 80. The way your body stops bouncing back like it used to. And how learning to listen to it, not resent it, can change the way you experience your later years. There's something no one prepares you for after 80, not just that the body slows down, but that it stops cooperating in ways you once took for granted. A sniffle isn't just a sniffle anymore. A stubbed toe doesn't heal in a day. A skipped meal can throw off your entire week. It happens quietly at first. Maybe you catch a cold, and instead of shaking off in a few days, you're still coughing 2 weeks later. Maybe you trip on the rug, nothing serious, just a bruise. But that bruise takes a month to fade, and your energy never quite returns to what it was. It's not about drama or disaster. It's about the margin for error becoming razor thin. Take Albert, 84, a former high school gym teacher who prided himself on staying active. He used to take morning walks, rain or shine. But one winter, he caught a mild case of the flu. Nothing extreme. No hospital stay. Just a few days of bed rest. But something changed. He told me, it was like my body lost its rhythm. I came back from it, but not all the way. Everything I do now takes a little more out of me. That's the second harsh truth. Minor health problems don't stay minor after 80. They linger. They compound. And more importantly, they affect you emotionally, not just physically. There's a kind of betrayal in it. You've lived in your body for 8 decades. You've counted on it, trusted it to carry you through heartbreaks, celebrations, daily routines. And suddenly, it feels unfamiliar. You go to bed one night feeling strong, and wake up with a stiffness you can't explain. Or worse, you try to stand up too quickly, and the room spins. Not because you did anything wrong, just because your body decided to speak a little louder that day. And the hardest part? People around you might not understand. That's just aging. They'll say, brushing it off like it's supposed to make you feel better. But you feel the difference. You feel the time it takes to bounce back. The recovery that used to happen quietly in the background now demands your full attention. What used to be automatic, hydration, appetite, sleep, now needs to be managed like a fragile equation. Miss a meal, and you're not just hungry, you're dizzy. Forget to drink water, and your blood pressure dips. Take a nap too late in the day, and you're up at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering what shifted. This isn't weakness. This is biology. And while you can't control how your body ages, you can control how you respond to it. See, strength after 80 doesn't look like it used to. It's no longer about how far you can walk, how many bags you can carry, or how much you can push through. Strength now is about awareness. It's about becoming an expert in your own needs. It means noticing when your energy dips, not just powering through, but asking yourself, what does my body need right now? Is it more water? More rest? Less pressure? It means having the courage to say, I need a break, even when your pride tells you to keep going. It means being kind to the body that's carried you this far, even if it's not as reliable as it once was. Evelyn, 87, put it beautifully. She said, I used to think that resting was giving up. Now I see it as giving back to myself. She keeps a small notepad on her kitchen table where she writes reminders, drink water, stretch, rest after walking. She treats it like a friendship with herself. That shift from frustration to care is everything. Because frustration is easy. It's easy to feel annoyed when your knees don't move the way they used to, or your digestion acts up for no good reason. But care? That's strength. That's love. That's long-term wisdom in action. And let me say this, you are allowed to slow down. Not because you're giving in, but because you're adjusting. You're adapting. And adaptation is not defeat, it's survival. It's resilience. If you've always been independent, it's especially hard to accept these changes. I know. You were the one helping others. The one climbing ladders, fixing faucets, running errands. And now, maybe you have to ask for help opening a jar or need a hand when standing up from a low chair. That can bruise the ego. It can make you feel small. But here's the truth. The strongest people are not the ones who never ask for help. They're the ones who know when to ask and do so with dignity. And you, after all you've lived through, deserve dignity in how you care for yourself. This chapter of life is not about proving you're still unbreakable. It's about protecting what's still strong. It's about preserving your energy for what matters most. Whether that's reading a favorite book, calling your grandson, or just watching the sky change colors in the evening. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do isn't pushing harder. It's letting yourself recover fully. It's saying, today, I'm going to rest and that's enough. Your body might not whisper like it used to. Now it speaks more loudly, more urgently. Listen to it. Let it teach you. Let it guide you, not into fear, but into awareness. Because the truth is, your experience is still your power. Your ability to notice, to adjust, to understand what's going on inside of you. That's not weakness. That's mastery. In the next part, we'll talk about another change that takes many people by surprise. The feeling of being overlooked, even invisible, in public spaces. But you are not invisible. Not to me. Not to those who truly see you. And certainly not to yourself. Stick with me. We've still got more to uncover, and I promise it's worth it. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like no one noticed? Not just overlooked, but almost unseen? It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Especially when you've lived a full, rich life, raised a family, built a career, contributed to your community. And yet somehow, it feels like the world has turned down the volume on your presence. This is the third reality of life after 80 that many people face, but few talk about, the quiet loss of visibility in social spaces. And I want to be clear, it's not always intentional. It's not that people are cruel or dismissive on purpose. Sometimes it's more subtle than that. You start to notice that your words don't carry the same weight in conversations. You begin to repeat yourself more, not because you forgot what you said, but because someone talked over you without realizing. Or worse, because they assumed you'd already finished speaking. There's this cultural shift that begins to happen when you reach a certain age. A shift where the focus turns sharply toward youth culture, youth opinions, youth energy. And before you know it, your age enters the room. Before you do, people look at the years on your face and forget to see the wisdom in your eyes. I remember talking to Henry, 85, a retired judge who once commanded courtrooms with confidence and clarity. Now he says he sometimes feels invisible even at his own family's dinner table. They love me, he said, I know they do. But they talk around me now. Not to me. Like I'm there, but not quite there. That hit me hard. Because Henry's not alone. So many older adults feel this soft erasure, this fading out, not because they're any less present, but because the world stopped making space for them. And the thing is, it's not just about being heard, it's about being valued. When someone interrupts you, or ignores your suggestion, or finishes your sentence without really listening, it sends a quiet message. What you say doesn't matter as much anymore. And that's not only unfair, it's deeply untrue. You've lived. You've learned. You've weathered more storms than most people even know exist. You've held loved ones as they took their last breath. You've seen births, weddings, wars, recessions. You carry history in your bones. And yet there are days when it feels like your seat at the table has been quietly pushed away. Let me tell you this, you are not invisible. You might not be as loud as the world around you, but that doesn't mean you don't carry weight. And if no one's told you recently, you still matter. Sometimes you just have to remind people, not with a shout, but with steady presence, with the courage to speak up, to tell your stories, to share your laughter, even if the room is distracted. Because someone is listening. Someone always is. I met a woman named June, 89, who told me that after feeling overlooked at her church group for months, she decided to start a weekly memory moment at the end of every meeting. Just 2 minutes where someone could share a story from their past. Funny, sad, wise, whatever came to mind. After the first few weeks, people began looking forward to her voice. They began asking for her stories. She said, "It wasn't that I got louder, it's that I didn't give up on being heard." That's powerful. You don't need a microphone to make an impact. You just need to keep showing up authentically. Because the world needs the perspective of its elders more than ever, even if it doesn't always know how to ask for it. And here's something else I want to say. If you're feeling diminished, don't internalize that. Don't start to believe that your fading social presence means your inner light is dimming. That's a lie. The truth is, our society often doesn't know what to do with deep experience. We're used to speed, noise, immediacy. But depth, reflection, grace under pressure, that's something only people like you bring to the table. You don't have to compete with younger voices. You don't have to keep up with trends or tech or whatever's next. You already hold what's lasting: wisdom, perspective, and patience. So when you find yourself feeling small in a fast room, remember, your quiet presence might be the very thing that slows others down and teaches them to pay attention. Speak anyway. Share anyway. Laugh anyway. And if someone doesn't notice, that's on them, not you. The people who matter will hear you. Maybe not the first time, but they will. Let me give you something practical to try. Start a story log, a notebook, a file on your computer, a voice recording on your phone, someplace where you store your stories. The ones that made you laugh, the ones that shaped you, the ones you never thought to share. Because your story isn't just yours. It's part of the world's history. And someone down the road, your grandchild, your neighbor, a stranger even, might find strength in it someday. And if you can, find one younger person, just one, someone who's open-hearted, and pass something on, a lesson, a recipe, a letter. It doesn't have to be big, just intentional. Because legacy isn't built through speeches, it's built through small moments of honesty, over and over again. Invisibility isn't your destiny. It's just a phase of life that requires a shift in how we claim our space. And if no one's offered you that space, take it anyway. Not aggressively, not resentfully, but firmly and gracefully. Because when you speak not just for yourself, but for every elder who's ever felt faded, forgotten, or overlooked. And that is strength. Up next, we'll talk about something even more difficult: the slow shrinking of your outer world. When your life becomes more local, more repetitive, and sometimes more lonely. But even in that shrinking, there is space for growth if you know where to look. So stay with me. We're not finished yet. There's something no one quite prepares you for as you step deeper into your 80s. The slow, almost imperceptible narrowing of your outer world. It doesn't happen in a dramatic sweep. It's not a sudden event. It's more like a quiet turning down of the volume on your daily life. Maybe you used to go out every morning, grab a coffee, stop at the market, catch up with the neighbors. But now, those outings feel further away. Not just physically, but energetically. That small trip to the store takes a little more planning. The familiar cafe you loved might have closed, or changed ownership, or simply no longer feels the same. Friends have moved. Others have passed on. The neighborhood kids you watch grow up, they've got kids of their own now, and you rarely see them anymore. Life doesn't fall apart, it just gets smaller. That's the fourth harsh truth. Your outer world narrows. And if you're not ready for it, that quiet shrinking can carry a heavy emotional weight. You may still have your routines, but they start to feel repetitive. You still have your home, but the silence in it stretches a little longer each day. Even those fiercely independent among us, people who've always loved their solitude, can feel that weight settle in the chest. Because it's not just about being alone. It's about watching familiar faces, places, and patterns quietly drift away, one by one. Nora, 86, once described it to me as emotional gravity. She said, "It's like everything I've ever known is moving just out of reach, and I'm standing here trying to wave it back, but it's already gone." That kind of loss is hard to explain to others. It's not a dramatic grief, the kind people rally around. It's a soft grief, a silent one, and yet it's very real. But, and here's the key, acknowledging that loss doesn't make you weak. Naming it is strength. It means you've paid attention. It means you loved well. That grief, that sense of fading, It only exists because you've been deeply connected to this life. So don't be ashamed of that shrinking world. Instead, try asking, what new thing can grow in its place? See, growth in your 80s isn't about expanding outward. It's about going inward and deeper. It's a chance to build richer conversations, stronger one-on-one bonds, even if they're through a phone line or a letter. It's about watching your great-grandson learn to walk on a video call and realizing you're witnessing the next chapter. It's about sitting with someone younger and sharing the stories no one else has heard. The quiet truths, the messy memories, the victories that felt small but changed everything. Because those things, they don't fade when the world shrinks. In fact, they become brighter. You may not travel the way you used to. You may not host the holidays or volunteer every Tuesday. But you can still bring meaning to the lives around you. With your presence, with your words, with your patience. Even a walk to the mailbox can become a moment of mindfulness, of gratitude. Even a conversation with a stranger can become a seed of connection. Even silence, when chosen, can become sacred. And now, we come to the final reality. One that may be the most frustrating of them all, the unpredictability of your own body. If you're over 80, you probably already know what I'm about to say. Some days, your body feels like it still belongs to you. You wake up with energy. Your mind is clear. Your legs feel steady. It's like you've turned back the clock a little. You make a plan, you're going to clean the porch, call an old friend, maybe even bake something for the neighbor. But the next day, you wake up and it's like your body changed the rules overnight. You feel tired for no reason. Your joints ache in places that were fine yesterday. Your hands feel clumsy. You lose your balance brushing your teeth. No warning, no explanation, just a new sensation you don't remember inviting. And that unpredictability, it's not just inconvenient. It can be scary. It makes you second-guess leaving the house. It makes you wonder, what if something happens while I'm alone? It shakes your confidence, not just in your body, but in your independence. That's what makes it such a difficult reality. The betrayal you feel isn't just physical, it's personal. You've spent a lifetime in this body. It's carried you through heartbreak, joy, labor, laughter. You know it better than anything. And now, it's not playing by the same rules. But here's what I want you to remember. You may not be able to rely on your body the way you used to, but you can still rely on your awareness, your experience, and your adaptability. Those things have grown stronger with age, not weaker. Flexibility becomes your new strength. Planning becomes your new tool. You learn to listen more carefully to what your body needs each day. More rest, more stretching, more caution. And instead of fighting it, you adjust. You adapt. That, my friend, is power. That is wisdom in motion. And the more you learn to respond with compassion rather than anger, the more at peace you will feel. Because aging is not a test of endurance anymore. It's a test of presence. Speak to your doctor often, even about small changes. Take notes. Learn what helps and what doesn't. Move gently. Hydrate often. And don't hesitate to ask for support when you need it. It's not weakness, it's smart living. You are still in control. Maybe not of every symptom or ache, but of how you respond. And that control, that awareness, gives you something precious back: confidence. So as we bring this all together, let me say this from my heart. You are not fading. You are evolving. Life after 80 is not the end of the road. It's a different kind of journey. One that demands new tools, new perspectives, and a deeper kind of strength. We've talked about the shrinking of your social life, the slower recovery of your body, the quiet loss of visibility, the narrowing of your daily world, and the unpredictability of your physical self. These are real. They are hard, but they are also doorways. Doorways into deeper reflection, into more meaningful connections, into wisdom that can only come from time and experience. And the truth is, acknowledging these harsh realities doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you. Because when we name what we're going through, we find freedom. We find peace. And most importantly, we find that we are not alone. So I ask you now, which of these 5 realities spoke to you the most? What will you do differently this week, knowing what you now know? Will you reach out to someone you've grown distant from? Will you give your body the rest and compassion it deserves? Will you start telling the stories that only you can tell? Whatever you choose, do it with courage. Do it with grace. And know this, your voice still matters. Your life still matters. And the world is better because you are in it. Thank you for spending this time with me. If something in this video spoke to you, I hope you'll share it with someone else. Because none of us should have to walk this path alone, and your words might be the very thing someone else needs to hear today. Until next time, stay strong, stay gentle, and most of all, stay connected to yourself and to the life that is still very much yours to live.